Okay, well, listen, I'd like to say hello to everybody out there. If you don't recognize me, or maybe you're not sure about the background, I'm Benjamin Franklin. We are sitting here in Independence Hall, actually at a coin show. And this is the Pennsylvania Association of Numismatics, the Pan Coin Show, that's happening this fall, October of 2021. Now, as many of you know, if you're a coin collector or a numismatist, you may recognize the fellow beside me, but maybe not. And I want to say there in front of us is a camera that belongs to this gentleman, and I've, in my reincarnation, have met him and become friends with him. And I thought to myself, well, and my curious nature has brought this upon us, that David Lisot, who is sitting here with me, has CoinTelevision.com and has photographed or videotaped a myriad, thousands of interviews over his long career. So I asked David, would you mind being interviewed by old lightning rod here, and he agreed to. So David, I have just a couple of questions, maybe probably more than two.
Well, first of all, I have to tell you what an honor it is to be interviewed by someone as illustrious as you, Mr. Franklin. I've appreciated half dollars ever since I was a kid, and I appreciate $100 bills even more, and I appreciate your character, and you're interviewing me. I'm as humble as I am.
No, you've been behind the scenes for most of your numismatic career. Now we're going to put you in front of the camera. So, David, to my recollection, and I have a pretty far back memory to the 17th century, but I do recall about the mid-1980s, my first encounters with you. Am I correct in that?
That's correct.
Good. So that is going back a long way, and he was filming then. So my question to you is, I would say, and you can agree, disagree, but as far as attending lectures, you have probably heard and absorbed more numismatic information than anybody known to mankind.
I think you're right. I have personally videotaped and edited more than 2,000 numismatic lectures. And oh my gosh, I can barely remember when my children were born, but I can remember a great deal of my numismatic knowledge.
And now, thinking in terms of that, there has to be a couple of maybe instances that you might recall as, well, let's do it a couple of different ways. Probably it's hard to name favorites, but if you had some significant ones, I'm talking to all those number of years, would have probably encountered some very famous numismatic personalities. So of all those ones that you've interviewed, are there any come to mind that you thought, boy, this is quite an event that we're interviewing this person? Do you have a couple you could name?
Well, first of all, Mr. Franklin. And I believe your counterpart has done some numismatic lectures as well on the basics of coin collecting,
yes,
as Patrick McBride. So
yeah, but there's got to be somebody more than that.
Well, you've got to do a toast to the host. Just what I've learned, but truly, some of the greats that I've videotaped that are no longer with us, I can say Abner Kreisberg, Jerry Cohen, Walter Breen,
yes,
Dave Bowers, Harvey Stack, John Ford, Aubrey Beebe.
Yes.
He's the coordinator for the ANA, the Glenn Smedley, Robert Louver, Ken Brissett, some people that are no longer with us, Chris Connell, Radford Stearns, Dan Brown, second member of the P&G, Abe Kossoff never let me interview him, and I'm mad at him because he would have been a great person. And I remember walking up to him at a 1974 ANA, and he had two showcases, one with a Kimon tetradrachm of Syracuse and another one with an ultra high relief, and someone shouted to him, "Abe, what's that, how much is the high relief?" And he goes, "Oh, pick either one for $250,000. But it has truly been an honor to, and I'm having senior moments by not having more of a memory button.
No, this is fine. This is that list is an incredible list, and is Ben Franklin, myself in my career, is certainly familiar with media as you are today, and it's always fascinated me about the things you do. And I think that what comes to mind, my next question is, of all those topics that you have filmed, is there any certain ones that personally catch your ear because maybe you have a fond interest in some certain aspect of numismatics?
Well, I have to give a little credit to Dennis Boggs with his renditions of Abraham Lincoln, and he has really provoked and engendered my interest in history and Civil War material. Larry Korchnek just gave a lecture today, as a matter of fact, on siege coins that were struck during sieges, and he started with the Battle of Constantinople in 1453, which I read the book in Constantine the 11th.
Yeah, the fall.
The fall of that,
in May of that
it was
year.
just, that was really intriguing. Eric P. Newman was one of the greats that I've interviewed several times.
Yeah.
His story of the evolution of the dollar sign and the history of Mexico, the War of Independence, and then the Revolutionary time period. And I have to admit, if anyone has a real genuine knowledge and enthusiasm for a subject, I cannot help but become infected with their enthusiasm as well and want to learn more about it.
Yes. Now, of all those interviews, and we certainly know of the ANA shows, and are there certain shows off the beaten track that you've traveled to that you thought, well, this is rather peculiar, but I'm here?
For interesting shows, one of them is the U.S. MEX Numismatic Association. It's been going on now for 10 or 12 years, I believe. I've videotaped every one of them. They always have at least a half a dozen lectures of very erudite and scholarly aspects of Mexican and Latin coinage. There's only about 40 dealers, but it's a wonderful, best-kept secret. The Early American Coppers Group, I had the honor of videotaping them for years and years until it became political and certain individuals got involved. Mm-hmm. But they have wonderful esoteric knowledge of the early coinage of America, pretty much 1793 until 1857 for the large sense. Interesting, fascinating group of people. And the other one would be probably the New York International, because they have speakers from everything from the most obscure was Dutch medals of the 16th century, which, boy, it was fascinating. Oh my gosh, I loved it.
Oh yes, it really it gets to the root of the numismatic appetite out there. I mean, it was certainly a 5-course meal in that. Now, I'm thinking as far as destinations, most people automatically say that the fun show in January, why would that not be a place to look forward to going to? Is there any places that you've been that you thought that, my God, this is a beautiful place, maybe aside from Florida in January? Anything come to mind that you thought, oh, I get to go there again? I really enjoyed traveling to that spot of our little God's earth here.
Well, I do have to give a kudo to the Florida United Numismatists. They are a wonderful group. They have wonderful lectures. Randy Campbell has been the education master planner there for 40 years now, I think, all together. And he always has a really interesting group of people as speakers. I had the honor of with the American Numismatic Association of doing their videos up until 2015, and I videotaped literally every lecture from 1986 until 2015, and that convention is interesting because it travels around. It does different cities, and for the Scottsdale show for the U.S. Mex is a wonderful city to go to. And I can't believe Pittsburgh is such a fine city itself. If any of you have the vision of the old steel town and dirty and all kinds of rivers being polluted, it's not. It's the most wonderful city, beautiful architecture, people are friendly, and the PAN convention, Pennsylvania Association of Numismatics, has some top-notch speakers as well.
Well, thanks for that. Of course, I'm always promoting the Keystone State.
There you go.
Although I will say that even for my old bones, going to Florida in January and seeing a palm tree is very, very enticing for me. And I don't mind sitting outside in the veranda to enjoy my ale or Madeira, so yes, I do look forward to the fun show. But so in closing, David, and I hope you continue on for a long time, do you have any plans or to keep filming as long as you can, or what is your long-term thoughts about retirement or keeping it going, or
well,
what do you think?
In 2014 October, I had a massive stroke.
Oh,
I was unable to speak or walk. I've had to learn virtually everything about life and living since then.
Over again, yes.
Fortunately, my numismatic knowledge was intact, and while I was on the gurney, both of my children came, my daughter Maxine and my son Alexander, and they said, well, Dad, you've survived, you're going to live, we love you, but we have to tell you right now, when you can't say or do anything, please get rid of all of your coins and banknotes and all of your collectibles. We don't want them. We don't have the time to invest to learn about them. So I've been, for years, I had never sold any coins at a convention, and I've now started to get rid of these items that my kids don't want. My fiancée, soon-to-be wife, is Debbie Level. She wants to travel, and she says, when we retire, we'll have so much fun. I said, darling, I'm already retired. I'm just looking forward to going to coin shows, selling off my material, and continuing to do documentaries and educational programming about coins.
Well, thank you for that. I'm going to say to our audience and anybody that sees this, when you see David at a coin show, stop at his table. I did notice that you had a case of coins here that I've never seen before. So I did take a good look-see, and I thought, well, maybe there's something that I would be interested in. So please, folks, if you do see David at a show, and help him get to a well-deserved retirement, and help him enjoy the latter years as I have certainly enjoyed mine. But we have to say that we've always appreciated David's his contributions to numismatics has been profound. And to visit his website, CoinTelevision.com, to access interviews that are just wonderfully done by the most incredible folks in the field of numismatics is worth that journey from your own office, living room, or wherever your computer is. So thank you, David. I'm pleased to do this, and I'm glad I did this.
Thank you.
So you're very welcome, and have a good evening tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. And who knows, I'll maybe do a video on your topic of numismatics.
That would be bad. That would be perfect. There's plenty to do, so we'll keep on doing it. Thank you, David, and have a nice night this evening.